let's go inside the pack. This way it gets real. Okay. All right. Let's see. Here we go. Of course, I've used this before. This might turn into 2 videos, guys. All right, here we go. But we're going step by step here. All right. So when you open it, don't just go to those pattern things right away. They come like this. They come like tissue paper. I'm sure you figured that out already. Okay. When you open up that packet, all right, you'll get these 2 beautiful papers. I always wonder, I've never gotten a pattern with more than 2 pages. That's funny. All right, the first thing you want on top is the one that shows you the pattern number. Not these, not that. Okay, you want the ones that show you the pattern and the number. Okay, here's the reason, here's why you need to know this, why you need this one first. Well, you automatically know you don't need this. This is already giving you directions, and look, it's already in number 13. See, 13, 14, 15, you're not there yet. You don't even know if that's what you need. Okay, so you need this one. Again, look, A is referring to that picture, A, right? Because they'll always refer to the same letters that's on the front of the packet. Okay, so this is showing you everything here that you saw on the back. Okay, this right here is going to show you piece by piece in the patterns, okay, in the bag, and it's going to label them for you. Okay, remember I said we're going to use A, right, for this project. Well, I know that when I actually pull these pieces out, okay, I'm going to be looking for the pieces that has A on them. I'll show you that, but for right now, let's look right here. This is another way for you to see, okay? This tells me that for pants, right, I like to look and see, I'm like, okay, look at that. I see an A there, okay? I see an A there. I see an A here. I see an A here. I see an A here. A. Look at that. An A in numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 through 8. I do not see an A here for 9 and 10. Okay, I only see D and E. Well, I'll tell you what that is. Look at this. This tells me that I need number 1, which is the front part of the pants. It tells me I need number 2, which is the front yoke and the pocket. Yoke is this part. It's this part that when your hands go in your pocket, the yoke part is this part that connects to the casing around your waist. It's the fabric that is up against your body that helps create the pocket. Okay. 3, which is the back of the pants. Okay, back side. 4, front band. It tells me this. So this right here, this curvy part is the part that's going to create this. Okay, you see that? It's going to create this part. Then it tells me the casing, number 5. You see that right there? Number 5. So in the back part, which these parts connect to, the casing is what folds over to create, it folds over, the casing folds over to hold the elastic in the back. So it's basically this folded over, the back and front of that gets sewn, attached to the pocket, the yoke part. Okay. And then it tells you need the elastic guide for the waist. It shows you here. And then it shows you elastic for the leg. Remember, A, you can have it either with the bottoms. It lets you know if you're going to have it with the pants, straight leg pants, or if you're going to use elastic for like rompers. All right. With that being said, let me show you real quick on here. If you're using elastic or buttons or anything for the project, it should actually tell you in the notions part, it should tell you with the thread what other notions you need, like buttons or something like that. Okay, so that's where you can see here. I guess since the elastic is here, they assume you would know you need elastic. Kind of funny, but okay, so that's what that is right there. Okay, tie ends. So it tells me also I need number 8. You see that? All right, which 8 is here, and that's for in this particular pattern. If optional, their bows. You see here you see this right here. The bow is there. So. Okay, so that's what this section shows you. This section shows you, if you did not take that tissue paper pattern out, it shows you that these are all the pieces that you're going to need for your particular project. You only need to look for what has the letters here for your actual picture that you're choosing here. All right, let's go to this one. This section is probably very, very important. Probably the most important, because once you know how much fabric you need, all right, from the back of the pattern piece, right, that's how you know how much you need. Well, this section here is going to show you the most optimal way to get, you know, everything, to get all of these pattern pieces cut without you wasting the fabric. I learned that the hard way too, guys, because nobody taught me. So, all right. So this right here is going to show you how to lay out that fabric in order to use the size based upon, I'm going to show you now, based upon the size that you need. All right. So remember I said we're going to use A for this video for you to understand. Okay. So this right here, it says you use pieces, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8. We know that because look, we peeked up here, right? So we know the 1, the 2, you know, yada, yada. What did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. It's all right here, okay? It says pieces 7 is cut of elastic. Okay, so we know that also because it told us right here, elastic guide. So what we want to do is, look at this right here. This is going to be important. Do not start cutting right away. You see where it has sizes 8 and 10 here for this part here? You're looking and it says pants. You see this? So 1A, 1B. Well, I'm a size 18. I'm not looking here because I would not have gotten this amount of fabric. I need more fabric for my size. So I don't want to look there. That's a size 8, 10. Look at this one right here. That says size 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Okay, great. All right, so my sizes here, right? So I would look here, but something you have to consider, okay? What size bolt fabric did you get? Okay, remember when you looked on that front right here and where that front actually showed you, you know, how much fabric you needed? If you chose a cotton pattern, a cotton fabric that was 45 inches on the bolt, 43 or 45, or if you actually did get that specific apparel fabric of 60, well, you need to know that because this is going to show you how you lay it out. Okay, based upon the width of the fabric you chose. So look at this. This says if I'm doing if I'm doing pattern A, right? If I'm doing these pants with the elastic, and if I got pants that fabric from a bolt that was between 44 and 45 inches, well, then, oh, that's 8, 10, 44 to 45 inches. And if my size is here, that 18, right? Well, guess what? I would look at this section. But let's say, for instance, nope. Say, for instance, I chose that 60-inch bolt fabric. All right, well, that's not going to work because guess what? That bolt is 44 to 45 inches. We can't use that. So you see this one here? 58 to 60-inch bolt. Okay, well, I did buy 58 to 60, right? I bought a 60-inch bolt. Nope, can't use that because that's for sizes 8 and 10. Whoa, all right, so let's look over here. All right, so 1D and 1E. Here's 58 to 60. All right, well, yep, my bolt is 60, but guess what? This is 8 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Ooh, perfect, right? So that's what I would use. Look at this one here, just so you can see. That's also 58 and 60, but look at this. That size is 20, 22, 24. So if I decided to go to the next size for the pants, well then, okay, I would choose the 20. If I decided like, ooh, this pattern might shrink a little bit, so I'm gonna use the next size, then I would actually use that, okay? But we're gonna stick with that whole 18 idea, all right, since I mentioned it earlier. All right, so that's when you look at this piece. Every other piece, these other things, you don't need to be concerned with, okay? We're looking at the piece, so we're gonna imagine this is your size, okay? All right, so you get that fabric from the store, right? I'm just gonna grab a piece of fabric because this is going to show you. All right, I'm gonna choose this type because I know. All right. Guys, you're not making a pair of pants with this, but I'm going to show you just as an example because I know that I have a lot of this fabric, so I'm going to lay this out. I'm going to open this for a moment. All right, when we're looking at this lingo on the pattern, right, this says selvages and fold. You see that? Selvages and fold. All right, so two things you need to think about when you're laying out your pattern pieces, okay? One, you need to be concerned with, because this is going to be important, how you place the fabrics on here, okay? Selvages means these pieces. It's the raw edges, okay? Raw edges, okay? The fold means this part of the bolt. It's the fold, you see? All right, so fold, selvages. Okay, so now when we look here also, notice that this is colored and that looks clear, or not clear, but it's not shaded, okay? One piece, so if you look here, this shows you, okay, what the colors look like on the layouts. So you see this, it says pattern printed side up, pattern printed side down. Well, look here. So this means that when you are cutting your fabric, see this portion here? This is the fabric, right? Okay, that is fabric right here. Well, this shows you, based upon that white, that your fabric should be laid out just like this with the pattern pieces showing to you. Okay, so pattern side up, the pretty side up. Okay, when it's shaded like this, right, for this particular pattern piece, some patterns are different. Some patterns actually have like interface grid mark lines. They're all different. So you got to look here at the key that it's showing you. So you see this where it says pattern printed side down. Yep, I'm gonna show you what that means. Okay, all right, so where this is showing you how you lay out your pattern piece, let's do this. I'm just gonna pull out, let's take a look here for a moment, because now you know how to, you know what pieces you need, you know what pieces of the fabric you need based upon the layout there. You know what you're sewing. Now you know how to know which pieces you need to cut from here. You know how to figure out which of these pictures you need in order to lay out your fabric, okay? Inside of the packet pieces, if you use a brand new one for the very first time, it's gonna be one long thing of tissue paper. Okay, one whole long thing. As you can see, I have not used this piece, okay? I haven't used this piece, so it's perfect. I'm gonna use this to show you how to read this, okay? What you wanna do when you open it only cut what you need to start with, okay? You know what you need to start with because when we look here, I know that we need number 1, as an example, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, okay? So what you do is you'd look on this pattern piece, right? You'd look for the number that you need. The numbers, you see them here? They're big. The numbers are here. So you have the pattern piece, so you know this matches what you're making, right? It matches there. You have the number here, and you have the size here, okay? All right, so that shows you, okay, all right, I need from these numbers, all of these pieces, and it shows me that that's the back piece when you're looking here. So it shows you whether it's the back or the front, and it'll tell you for which pattern. It will tell you how many you need to cut. You see how this says cut 1 on fold? Well, remember, I just showed you, this was the selvage part of the fabric. This was the fold part. So if I were to be using this for a particular pattern, this is the part right here. This part right here, when you cut it all out, I'll just cut this right here so you can see. This is the line here. You always want to look for the full pattern piece. You look for the full pattern piece and you cut at the bolded line. Bolded line. Don't worry about your size yet. I'm going to show you that. Okay? Because this number 10, if it told me to use number 10, I know that I want number 10. Okay? I'm going to cut it out so that I don't have to be worried about this piece here. I'm not concerned with number 9 right now. I'm concerned with number 10. So let's put that to the side for a second, okay? Now, what I like to do, okay? All right, so you would cut, I'm not gonna do it for this video because that'll take time. You would cut all the way around, even though, remember, as an example, my size is 18, right? But I don't wanna just cut the 18. Suppose you gain weight. Suppose I gain weight, right? I want to be able to have that next size. Or suppose you were one size and your child, you know, was another size, a bigger size or a smaller size. So you still want to have all of those sizes. Cut outside, not over here. That's way too big. Cut over here at the edge of your pattern, right? You're going to cut outside the solid line all around the actual pattern. Okay, when you get to things that look like this, you're going to still cut on the outside pattern piece. I mean, the outside line, the boldest, the biggest size that's there. And I'll show you why. Because what you're going to do with that piece, right, so that you can use the pattern piece, I'm just cutting this off right now because I'm not going to cut this whole pattern off. As you can tell, I don't use this particular pattern. I use a different one. Okay, so here's what you do. So you see this is 16, 18, 20. I would, after I cut all around, when I'm ready to lay this out on my actual fabric, I would fold. Don't waste time drawing the pattern on tissue paper. Don't waste your time because then you're just you're wasting your time like that. Fold the pattern and look. This is what size the pattern is, 18, okay? So, and then you know once you fold that the whole way, you're gonna follow that line, the 18, all the way, okay? All the way around the entire pattern, okay? Now, what it tells me is that this is going, it gives me directions here and I can see like, oh, because it told me cut 1 on fold and I can see where it says center fold, okay? I can see that there. So remember, this piece here is going to teach you how to lay out your fabric, but just for right now, I want to show you something. I'm gonna make pretend we are ready. I'm gonna make pretend we're ready to cut this, right? So when it says center fold, cut on fold, well, guess what? So that's the edge of the pattern. This is the piece. You see this here? It shows you the fold. This is the piece that you would put near on the folded side. See that? You don't just randomly place, here's the pattern piece. You don't just randomly place it here, okay? You don't do that because this shows me that what we want to do is place, you see this, it says selvages and fold. It shows me this is number, that's the number. It shows you what to place on the fold, okay? Fold. Okay. What next? Okay, let's go back to this, okay? If we're looking here at the pieces, we know that it's going to teach us we need these numbers, right? So let's look here and see how you know what numbers they are. I showed you here that's 10 as an example, right? This one here says 9 on it. And you see this one here said back, right? That tells me that's the back of it. That tells me that's the front of it. You see that 9 and 10? But look, that's D and E. Whoa, well, these are not the pants, D and E. And you know that because when you look here, right, it tells you that for the actual pants, right, it tells you, see right here, it tells you what numbers you need, 1 through 8. D and E, if we look at that, D and E. What are D and E? D and E, that's the skirt. Okay, so you're gonna keep looking through your pattern piece. I already know what it is because like I said, I use this one over and over again, the same pattern. You see this? This is number 8. It shows you 8. They have numbers. They tell you what piece they are. Okay, I'll tell you what all of this other stuff, you know, is in a moment, okay? But you see that? So it has the pattern piece, it has the numbers, it tells you what part it is. It tells me A, B, C, D, E. Well, guess what? Yeah, I do remember us saying we need number 8, that tie end, because look at number 8 right here, right? I know we're doing A, the pants for A, and I saw that number 8. So guess what? I would cut this all out. Right? Like I said to you, I don't put bows on my pants, on my daughter's pants, that tie, that front bow. What is that picture? That's what this is. I don't put this on our pants. But if you like bows or whatever it is, you'll figure out what you need for whatever kind of pattern you like. But that's why this is not cut. But because I know the numbers here, I know that I would have to cut that out. Okay? All right, so then you continue looking to see, and I know that this batch right here, because I use this all the time. That's why it's folded, and I know that the pieces that I use is in there. I haven't used those from the pattern, but I know that these are the ones I use. Okay, so now I'm like, oh, okay, number 5. We need number 5 because you see the pieces on here again, right? So it tells you the 5. It tells you, you know, that it's the casing. Those are the pants for A. Those are the cropped pants, remember? Then we have the same pants that are C. And then it says that this is for D and E. So that skirt is using this casing also. It's using the same pattern piece for the skirt, but I don't care about the D and E because guess what? I'm making A. I'm making those pants. Okay? All right. So you'd continue through the bag, you'd continue through the packet looking for what pieces you need, okay, off the big long tissue paper part. And then you would cut them all out, okay, like I showed you earlier, cut on the outside of the black part, okay. Okay, now once you have all the pieces cut out, okay, what you do, okay, now imagine you had them all cut out, okay? You look at the paper and it's going to show you how to lay that fabric, okay? So if it says to put the pair of pants, the selvages, when it shows you number 2 as an example, I'm gonna get number 5 just because it's here and I have it right here. So, all right. I have a lot of tissue paper flying, guys. Okay, so I'm just gonna use number 5 just because it's the closest one that I pulled out. So number 5 says, right, to place right here on the fold. The reason you want this on the fold, you see cut 1 on fold, was when they tell you to cut something on the fold, you'll see it in 2 places. You'll see it on the fold, on the information here. It'll also show you these arrows in between, and it'll show you this is the fold. Well, when they want you to put things on the fold, they show you that because they don't want seam lines in the middle. Okay, this is the band that's going around the waist, so you don't want to cut these in 2 because then you'd actually have a seam line down the middle of your belt part around the casing. Okay, so so you would place this on the fold, not on the salvage part, and then it's showing you that you would put layer the pants leg, you know, straight. I can do that in a different video. It will be way too much to do it all in here to lay them out because of the pieces being cut. But just make sure that you hold the paper according to how you have the fabric laid on your table, on your floor, and then use the guide for whatever size you're using to show you how to lay it out. All right. What else you need to know from here? Okay, these things right here on the pattern piece. Okay, so this is the casing. Remember, you're going to cut the whole pattern out and then you're going to fold it to the size that you need. Otherwise, it's going to be too big. Okay, when you cut it, when you put it down, right, and when you cut it, so imagine that being on the fold there. You could pin this if you wanted to. But what I love to use, I got these weights, which are pretty cool from the hardware store. You can pin them, okay, if you don't have these weights. But I mean, not weights, they're washers. I use them. So you can lay them, you can lay weights down or you can pin them. And then what you'd end up doing is you'd cut around that pattern size. Okay, the entire way around once you've laid them all out and make sure that they fit on your fabric. Okay, then you go ahead and, oh, these are not even my cutting scissors, but you will go ahead and you will cut out the pattern. Okay, do not cut out here if this is your pattern. This is what you're going to be sewing together. Okay, so do not cut extra. You're cutting right up along the line. You're going to fold it to your size. Okay, and you're gonna cut around it. Okay, okay, so the reason I had to mention that is because on the pattern piece, when you see these little things right here, these are notches that when you're sewing, it shows you how this piece, these little notches here shows you where the piece will connect with another fabric piece. Okay, and the idea is that when it is cut, imagine this being the fabric, when it's either folded like this or connected with the other connecting piece, the idea is that you should have these triangles, these notches lined up with the other piece. Okay, and that's how you know that when you start sewing, that your pieces will line up. Okay, it also shows you on the tissue, on the pattern itself, it will show you a seam allowance on some of them. Let's see. Oh, here we go. So this is on one of the legs, right? And on one of the legs, I'm trying to see that I make sure I get to explain all the pieces to you. Okay, so you see how it shows you, Oh, this piece is perfect. This is a piece that I use because this is what I want to show you when it gives you the option to use one pattern for two things. But notice on here where it says 1 1/4 inch hem allowed, right? Well, this says that your size, whatever size it is that you're using, it says they have already allotted for the seam allowance. So you're still going to cut your exact size. Remember my 18, right? I'm still going to use my exact size because they already thought about the seam allowance in here. Okay? So you're going to still cut at that line. Now let's look at this for a minute. All right. Remember when I told you that this particular pattern piece comes with shorts and pants? Look at this. This tells me, this is a great one to show you. And I think this is going to be it after this. Okay. So this shows you right here that this particular piece is for the back part of A, B, C. Look at that. So A is here, both A's, B's, and C's. If I wanted to make C the shorts, well, look at this. Let's follow this for a minute, right? So we're going to look right here, The pattern goes down, right? But look right here. It says cutting line for view C. So this entire piece right here, remember I said to you, I cut out the entire thing. Well, this entire piece here, if I'm sewing pants, I need this entire thing. But if I only want the shorts, I still need this. So look, you see, they show you, this is where you fold it. They show me based upon my size. If I want view C, if I want shorts, I don't need to be concerned with this long length. So I want to fold that up if I want the shorts. All right, this is where you learn. This is where you learn to do this stuff. Okay, so there's the C. All right, almost there. I would go to my size. Right, so ta-da! And it looks like you only have shorts. So you see, cutting line for view C. This is where I would cut, line it up with my size, right, the line, if I wanted C. Okay? If I wanted pants, right, let's continue down. Remember those crop pants, B, view B? Well, look here. If I'm going to use this for view B, right, I would fold all the way down. I need fabric that's this long. B is longer than C. You see that? So you need the fabric that's up to this point. This is how they give you more than one pattern in the pack. Okay? So this is the area that I would fold to, depending on my size. There's that 18. You see that? I would fold all of this. Okay? If I wanted B. That's without the elastic. Okay, right there. All right. But if I wanted the full thing, if I wanted A, which I know I want, well then guess what? I need to have this entire thing, and I would lay this entire thing out with my fabric. Okay, the length of it. Okay. All right, so that's what this is, and that's what they tell you on the fabric. They teach you the sizes. They show you the sizes on here. It shows you the seam allowances. It shows you where you need to cut based upon what particular size. Let's see what else. Oh, it shows you right here. Again, these are the notches that are on the patterns, so that these pieces should match up when you actually put them together with the opposing side. Okay, that's what these are for. And the way you would do this is, I never cut these notches, but what you would do is when you lay it out, put a tiny snip, very tiny snip I mean, if you wanted to, when you first start, then go ahead and do it. Otherwise, once you learn how to sew, you won't be doing it. So you see this when you lay your pattern down, right, on the fabric, you will put these notches here. That's what it is. So you would cut this out of your actual fabric piece, so that, you know, you would cut each one so that you'd see when they connect. You won't see this when you sew because the seam allowance is going to be wider than that right there. Okay. All right. What else do you need to know for short for super? All right. Let's see. Okay. We'll do another video where I show you how to read those instructions because I told you guys it can get in depth. So, you know, the back side of it, you know, it has the instructions for step by step, and each pattern is going to be different, but ultimately you look for what you're sewing and then it shows you step by step. I can't teach you how to sew the actual thing because I was asked to teach you how to read a pattern, but that's how you read the pattern and figure out what you want. If you have questions, put them down below. It's okay if you have questions. This is something that you will need to know to figure out in order to get things right and understand other patterns the first time you do them. All right. So that's going to be it for this video. All right. Come join me for another video. And like I said, I am putting these videos on here that you guys want to know for you to learn. So get at me on social media. My Facebook group is Sewing Made Easy with Nikki. You can find me on Instagram at Sewn by Nikki. Yeah, or leave your comments down below. Okay, so I will see you back here for another video next time.